My team called me and said, hey, somebody named Two Chainz is down here. And I said, I don't know damn Two Chainz. I already told y'all, don't call me unless it's Wayne, this one, this one. And so I get a call from Titty Boy. And he's like, why you do me like that? I'm on the way home. Everybody's in your building. And I was like, what do you mean? He was so mad at me. I'm like, hold on, let me call my team. I said, y'all didn't tell me Titty Boy was here. And they said, he said his name is Two Chainz. I said, boy, I don't know who Two Chainz is before when he first changed his name. And so that was the mishap. Do not ask me about nobody, no new rappers, because they're all gonna try to be in here with Wayne, with Nicki, with Big Sean, Wiz Khalifa, you know, the list goes on of who was in the building. And T.I. I gotta shout out my boy T.I. Well, the journey for me, everybody goes to my time at Tree Sound, the studio that was going out of business that I brought back to life and brought people, my peers, from Lil Wayne, from, you know, when Katrina happened, he started coming up after that, and Juvenile, and then here comes Big Sean, and here comes Wiz Khalifa. And when I say these names, it's Cam to me, Cameron. You know what I mean? It's Sean to me. Ludacris is Chris to me. So these are people that I met along my journey, but where I started behind the scenes was here in Chicago. I had another mentor, Camille Cook. She was a big promoter for House of Blues, Navy Pier, Cubby Bear, and Michelle Dotson, who was, you know, these were my big sisters who poured into me. She was working with Doug Banks and Tom Joyner, so I got to be at the station. I got to be an intern and then start helping promote these venues. And so, you know, one of my big moments in Chicago, we did the Hard Knock Life tour for Jay-Z, and then we brought the Winans. When my grandfather died, I wanted to do something special for my grandmother, and we brought the Winans to Navy Pier. You know, those early moments gave me what I needed to go into the next space. And producing music and commercials here and advertising, it wasn't an easy feat. And watching Tom and Jolie Burrell, who became billionaires in advertising, and having that representation, seeing them be successful, that took me into the world of hip hop, where when there wasn't money, I would come back to my Chicago roots. Okay, who has a brand that, you know, do we get Adidas with B.O.B.? How do I get these brands to help support Corona, Modelo? How do I get these brands to support these artists? So when you ask about my most special, memorable moment, there's two. I'd never been starstruck. With Whitney, I'd met her before, and she ended up working in my studios for a long time. I'd met her before, and she was an angel, super, super kind, but I saw how so many people fawned over her, so when she'd come to my studios for the first 6 months, I'll be like, just leave her alone. You know, nobody bother her. And they're like, she's calling for you. Why are you being weird? I guess I was just a little bit like, I mean, I sang every one of her songs, and I would win money singing her songs. So she was someone I looked up to. So becoming friendly with Nippy and having her share who she was and who she wasn't able to be, it influenced me like, oh no, what? We're not able to write. She's like, I want to be Mary J. Blige. I don't want to sing these old school songs. She didn't want to do all the ballads. She wanted to be herself. And so it really and Angie Stone, you know, both my very dear friends. I'm really sad that they're not here. Those two moments, becoming close to them. And then also, this is wild, because I've had the pleasure of doing Lenny Kravitz's entire Strut record and working with Wayne and Drake, and I helped curate What a Time to Be Alive for Future and Drake. But one time I was starstruck because I thought she was still in jail here. And I walked around the corner from my office and I see Da Brat, and I about fell on the floor. I'm like, the braids with the baby plastic colored I was just I was outdone. And Trey the Truth, my dear friend in Texas, he said, you are so funny. That's my girl. I brought her here to talk to you so you could help her do studio time and just y'all could be cool because you're both from Chicago. So that was my one starstruck moment. Everybody, you know, and I think just because I'm from Chicago and to see a woman be that bold and step out of Chicago and be in New York with Mariah and JD and be in Atlanta, that was inspiring to me. I'll tell you a wild story. This just came to me. I don't know why. I got 1,000 of them. My 24/7 HH Wild Party tour story was in my old studio. It was when everybody was touring. I say it was the BET Awards one year. Normally, I never put Lil Wayne in a room. Even though we had 7 rooms, I would never put him in the building with any other rappers because he was like the Godfather. No matter who you were, every rapper wanted to just, Molly, please, let me just say hi. And so he and I had an agreement that when he was there, nobody, it's like a hotel. Does your hotel be calling, hey, so-and-so got the penthouse? No. So we kept it real, but it was the BET Awards and everyone was in town. And so he was like, cool, just don't have anyone here. So he was in Studio A, and I think Nikki was in there. And I had Wiz Khalifa in Studio 11, Big Sean in M, and then I think Two Chainz pulled up. But it was like the BET Awards. It was a big party. So that was one. And I'm going to give you one more. When we did Return of the Dreamers, ROTD 3, it was a 14-day extravaganza. My team hadn't slept for 14 days, but literally the Milwaukee Bucks entire team show up. It's like, here comes Swiss Beats, DJ Khaled. Everybody you see if you hit ROTD 3, Kendrick's team, Wale's team. I called Tip and Ross, so T.I. and Ross came. It literally was like a huge party for Jermaine to finish the records. I had Ari Lennox and the girls. They were fighting to get on the mic because the guys are pretty tough, you know. So they were upstairs in my office, her and Baby Rose and Mariba. And it was just like a huge party. But when the Bucks came in, I'm like, oh, man, we already had 100 people in the building. So that was kind of my thing. That was the big thing for me, the big extravaganza, crazy event. Well, there was one right before that was wildly funny. My team called me and said, hey, somebody named Two Chainz is down here. And I said, I don't know damn Two Chainz. I already told y'all, don't call me unless it's Wayne, this one. And so I get a call from Titty Boy. And he's like, why you do me like that? I'm on the way home. Everybody's in your building. And I was like, what do you mean? He was so mad at me. I'm like, hold on, let me call my team. I said, y'all didn't tell me Titty Boy was here. And they said, he said his name is Two Chainz. I said, boy, I don't know who Two Chainz is before when he first changed his name. And so that was the mishap. He thought I was like, nah, nigga, you can't come in here. You know what I mean? And I was like, I don't know. Do not ask me about nobody. No new rappers, because they're all going to try to be in here with Wayne, with Nicki, with Big Sean, Wiz Khalifa. You know, the list goes on of who was in the building. And T.I. I got to shout out my boy T.I. I mean, I have 100 million stories. It was 15 years of craziness. I mean, when Tip did Trouble Man with me, it was literally a family reunion in that building every single day. Shout out to everybody I mentioned. I love y'all all. Thank y'all for y'all support. All right, so I just threw out all these names, right? Now, I was lucky because my mentor in New York connected me to this party where I met Rosie Perez. She introduced me to Eric Johnson. He introduced me to Maxwell. But as soon as I saw these artists, of course, inside me, I'm like, oh, wow, that's so-and-so. But you have to keep your composure. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's the biggest star in the world, you have to understand that it's a time for everything. Like, for me, when I decided to take off my singing hat because the deals weren't looking right, I'm a business person, I said, okay, if I'm going to be in these rooms with the celebrities, it's about them. It's not about what I do with my art. So what's wild is right now, I remember there's celebrities that have called me like, Molly, all these years you worked with us and nobody know you sang? Nope, because it's a time for everything. I don't want to be looking like I'm here, hey, oh, I sing too. How would that look if I'm running the studio and owning studios and you're here to do your music? And so for me, the advice I would give to, it's like, T.I. came to me when he was doing Trouble Man and said, I've never done a song with Andre 3000, and that's my boy. And I know you can make it happen. I said, I can't make it happen. That's God. It's going to have to be timing. Everything's going to be after right now. I can call and ask him to pull up. But all of y'all, for him, because Andre is such a genuine good person, he didn't get into music to be famous. He told me I thought he was going to be a painter like Picasso or something. Like, he's just a full-on artist, but he's someone who doesn't like to feel like you're putting him on a pedestal. Others do. So you have to read the room. So for Tip, I told everybody, do not when he walk in, act like, oh boy, your boy is none of that. And a few of them did anyway. But Tip was cool, and then they got a song together. I took Andre up to my private room. But for others that you're in this position where you're around celebrities, and how do I not say something? Because dang, then I lose my chance. I've blown it before. When I was on OWN Network, they told me, I was on Flex and Shanice, helping two friends on OWN Network, and they said Oprah wasn't going to be there. I blew it, and I would tell you how I blew it, and how I would redo it. I didn't think she was going to be there. So I didn't have myself prepared for the moment that if she saw me or said something to me, I would be able to respond in the right way. So they said she wasn't going to be there. So when she walked in, I did this. And the doorman at OWN was like, what? Why did you say anything? And she was like, oh, you're beautiful. I love what you're doing on the show. And I was like, I didn't know what to say. I wasn't prepared. So be prepared, number one. And number two, don't, when you are prepared and the room is red where they ain't trying to talk to you, celebrities are human like us. Aren't there days that you don't want to talk to anybody? Aren't there days where you have something going on in your life? It might be medical, it might be whatever. Somebody just died, so you just don't feel like talking. Read the room. If you read the room and there's a celebrity that looks like they are nice and kind to you, every time they ask you how they are, how are you, they don't want to know all the time. It's just them being kind to you. So you really just have to be aware of yourself and your surroundings. There are times where you have to say, hey, it's okay for you to say to celebrity, hey, I'm a big fan, I just wanted to let you know. But don't be going, now I do this, that, and the other, because everyone does that to them. How are you special? If they want to know, they'll ask you, oh, he's cool, I liked his vibe, he gave me some real eye-to-eye. Man, seriously, that song, you could say that to them. There's a way to do, and I think the way is to give genuine adoration if you're somebody you really look up to. You know, I was taught you don't worship nobody. Everybody put their pants on the same way. But there's another end where I worked hard to get to where I am. All these names that I've dropped is because I helped so many people and I've done the work. And so these people have done the work. John Legend has done the work, you know. All these people have done the work. So just make sure you read the room and be prepared. Molly Wilson, and I'm at 24/7 HH, and I just enjoy my time with y'all.